It's time for breaking bread with Papa. Hey, don't you know? Hey, it's sourdough. Hey, it's time for breaking bread with Papa. Hey, don't you know? Hey, it's also a show. Hey,
Welcome, everybody, to another edition of Breaking Bread with Tom Papa. I'm Tom Papa. Here we are, kids, inching into the summer. This will air the day after Memorial Day, which means it's summer. Can we just call it summer? I don't care if you're living in the Northeast and you got a little rain once in a while, you got a little cold dip. I don't care if you live in Southern California and it's 1,000 degrees and things bursting into flame. Let's just call it summer for the love of God. Can we stop with the details and the parsing and the people pulling us back from the joy in our lives and just call it the summer? It is summer, and we've got a good show for you. Just happens to match up for summer. This is so perfect. We have Kevin Bledsoe of Bledsoe's Barbecue and his pal Noah Galuten, who the two of them have gotten together and created this great barbecue cookbook, Bledsoe's Barbecue Cookbook, and you are going to enjoy this. Two great people, very funny, filled with love, filled with joy, filled with barbecue sauce, and you are going to love this one. So happy summer to you, and happy barbecuing. I don't know, and as you'll see when we talk to him, it doesn't matter if you got a big pit, if you've got a little thing in your hanging off the end of your balcony. That was my setup when I was starting in school. It was just a tiny, it was almost looked like like the inside of an iron. And I was barbecuing off of that. We'd like to thank the good people at Helix Sleep for sponsoring today's show. A big shout out to the good people of Helix Sleep. Take their 2-minute sleep quiz and they'll match you to a mattress. They'll give you the best sleep of your life. I sleep on one myself. I took the quiz, and I have been sleeping better ever since. I know some of you are sleeping on saggy old mattresses at night. It's summer, whipping off those clothes, diving into bed. Should be a good one. Find your perfect mattress at helixsleep.com/papa. So here we are, kids. Now, I know the summer, the coming of summer is always filled with joy, and there's always a nice anticipation of getting together with some family and shit talking around the barbecue. That's how our buddy Kevin Bledsoe says about what you should be doing when when you're hanging around, and he should know he's all family. He comes from family. He comes from Compton, out here in Southern California. And he has just got a great story. He's a impressive figure. And just that thing, it's the breaking bread concept, kids. It's just that thing of, doesn't matter who you are, what you are, where you come from. When you get around his pit, you are going to enjoy yourself and enjoy your life and have a good time. And there are roots. There is deep roots in this cooking. And it is very American, and it is very good for your soul. I can't wait for you to hear it. My grill game, truth be told, not that great. I go off a gas grill. It's a nice setup. It's pretty decent. I kind of neglect it. It's filled with a lot of rust and stuff. But I just, until you smoke it the way he does, and we'll get into it, and just these small little things you can do to set up your own smoker and your own grill, you'll just get better results. You know, I throw steaks onto my gas grill and it's just tough. I don't get the sear that I want. I've talked about it on here before. I've struggled. Still like getting out there, throwing some hot dogs on the grill. Why not? Some burgers, getting the veggie side going for the family. It's all about just cracking a beer and standing there. But if I could improve the game, and when you see the pictures in this, it's called Bledsoe's Barbecue Cookbook. And Noah is his good pal, and they became friends, and Noah actually opened up another spot of Bledsoe's here in L.A., and the two of them are really a perfect example how you can take two people from very different worlds and merge as one, both learning from each other. Noah learning a little bit more from Kevin, and I have to say that because, well, you'll see. You know they're good friends because they shit on each other. And it mostly goes from Kevin to Noah. And that's the dynamic there, and that's that shows love, that shows a lot of health. I know that we're also recording this after yet another tragedy and what seems to be piling up in the U.S. of a lot of these horrible, horrible things. And just look for people with answers. Anyone that doesn't give you answers, anyone that gets in your grill and wants to put up a stance of why your idea or your want for making it better and trying to fix it, anyone that gets in your grill that doesn't open up with a answer, that doesn't come to you with a solution that is filled with love, trying to accomplish the same thing that we all want, which is just a better, easier life in our country, in our cities, in our towns. Anyone that doesn't, I give you permission. You don't have to talk to them. I think we're beyond that. Anyone that just wants to make noise, get in your face for some other agenda without telling you, no, but I have a way, I have an answer, this is what we should do, they don't get to come to your barbecue. They don't get to stand there. You don't need to crack them open a beer. You don't have to ask them how they like their ribs. You don't have to ask them how they like their burger. They're not invited. I think we're beyond that. I think it's time to shut out some of the people that are fueling what I would call the second pandemic, which is this mental health crisis of all these young men that are losing it. And the people that turn up the temperature and turn up the noise on that stuff, they are part of the problem. So they're not allowed. They don't get to come. They don't get to come to our little barbecue. Enough of that. You're going to love this. Kevin Bledsoe and Noah Galuten. You're going to get the book too, because it's beautiful. And literally just flipping through it right now as I'm talking to you and seeing just these ribs, it's like I want to stop talking immediately and go just take this book outside and make it happen. Fried chicken, my God, it's so good. Collard greens. Buttermilk pie, how about that? Shirley Ann's buttermilk pie. All right, great people, great book. Enjoy the conversation. Thank you for being here. Happy summer to you, and enjoy. You can just start and go in. Congratulations on the cookbook, Kevin.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I was wondering why Noah, a little picture of Noah wasn't in the bottom, like giving a thumbs up or something.
Well, we put his damn name on there. I think that's good enough. I mean, damn, I didn't want to do that, but he said he wasn't going to serve me no more damn Hennessy when I come to LA, so I had to.
So before we jump into the cookbook, it's great, and I have a lot of questions about barbecue and your story, but why don't you tell me the story about the two of you, of when you guys started working together?
Go for it, Noah.
Yeah. Well, it started out, I was a writer originally, and, I'm from Santa Monica, where, you're raised to believe that barbecue just means grilling a chicken breast and putting a store-bought barbecue sauce on it. And then I finally went down to Compton and had Bludso's barbecue at the original location down there, and just, it changed everything and blew my mind. I ended up interviewing him for LA Weekly, and then I was working at a little burger place that's no longer there called the Golden State. And I was talking to my friend and colleague, James Starr, and I was just saying, man, how cool would it be if you could eat that barbecue and drink a beer and watch a game up here in Hollywood? And we started talking to Kevin and bouncing around the idea. He had a lot of people offering to go into business with him. And then he invited us, I think as a joke, to his granny's 90th birthday party in Corsicana, Texas. But we bought tickets and showed up, and all of a sudden, couple of white Jews rolled up at the Martin Luther King Community Center, and Kev likes to say it's like the record scratched. And he said, these guys are real important to me, all right. And everyone said, all right. And cut to 3 a.m. I'm drinking corn rye. I think I might have been singing a Sam Cooke song with your auntie. And we kind of sealed the deal there. And I just started showing up at Compton at 4 o'clock in the morning to train on the pits. And Kev never told anybody I was coming. I just found out recently on purpose. He didn't tell anybody who I was or what I was doing. He said, if he shows up and he gets scared and leaves, then I know he's not the right person for me. And so I just started in the back cleaning collards and peeling potatoes. And eventually we opened a restaurant up in Hollywood together. And I got to launch that with him and help him open another one in Australia. And we've been sort of friends and business partners and brothers for coming up on 10 years now.
Wow, that's amazing. Kevin, did he look scared when he first showed up?
No, I wasn't there, but Felix had called me and said some white boy is here. Is he from the IRS or something? And I said, nah, he's gonna be working with us for a few days. And he said, put him through the ringer. I said, yeah, put him on the greens and peeling potatoes, and I'll be in there in a couple of hours. I'm going back to sleep.
This is great hazing. I love it. Well, Kevin, the book is great. It looks great. The story it's nice to see at this point in your career the story, because you can tell it from this perspective where you're starting off as a young kid and growing up in Compton, and your parents, and then the whole story is just so great, and it really gives you this great understanding of why your food is so heartfelt and soulful and successful, because you could actually see this history that you just carry with you is so great to read and so inspiring at the same time. I guess that we have to start though with, please tell me a little bit and tell our listeners a little bit about Willie Mae.
Oh man, that was my heart. That was my my superwoman, Tom. She was my granny, next to my mom, probably most important female in my life. Just taught me a whole nother way of life, like I said, being from Compton and, never put down my city, love where I'm from. It had its problems like any place else, but being able to come out there to my granny or come out here with my granny, I fell in love with country. I fell in love with the country life. I fell in love with barbecue, and I fell in love with living the right way, being somewhere where you could really be like when I would come back to LA, my homies in the hood would call me the Black Tom Sawyer or the Black Huckleberry Finn, because I was in the country doing country things, fishing and hunting and hanging out all night and chasing girls. I mean, it's 100 degrees, so you 12 years old and you're not even coming out the house until 8 o'clock at night. And you just allowed to be out until 1, 2 in the morning, and nothing going on. It's summertime and nothing going on. Nobody worried about no drive-bys. Nobody worried about nothing. And like I said, I have cousins and friends out here from the time I was little to now, and we still friends. And Granny just teaching me work ethic and, along with my parents, but just working with her at her roadside stand and watching how this woman worked a 40-hour work week and then sold barbecue on the weekends and her work ethic. And she always would say, you ain't gonna do nothing if you not working. You're not gonna get whatever. You gotta work. You gotta work for what you want. And she taught me that early. And one of the main things she would always teach me is the legal hustle. I've lived by that. You need to learn you a legal hustle. Right. Legal hustle. She said, I love the word hustle, even though she probably did some illegal hustling herself to make sure we didn't have to do no illegal hustling. But she always said, learn something to fall back on. And I learned to cook and I learned to DJ, and during tough times, that's what kept my family going many times, because I knew how to spin some records and I knew how to cook some food. So she was totally right. I always go with the Karate Kid thing, wax on, wax off, sauce on, sauce off, because she was teaching me something that I never knew. And I didn't even know she was teaching it, because, the best teacher is somebody who can teach you and you don't know that you're being taught. Right. And that's how she was. She was the funniest lady you would ever want to meet. We could just sit here and tell her jokes, but I could talk to knowing them and just saying it, and I'd be like, okay, well, because I think years ago they thought some of the stories were so far-fetched, so I just called my uncle, tell them about that night over Granny's on Cottage, and they'll tell the whole story. And that's really not jumping ahead, but that's how it came about, because Noah was like, man, I just sitting there with your family and some of the stories and the history that needs to be in a book. And I was like, oh no, man, I got a lot more living to do, a lot more stories to do. So, you know, it was really Noah and James want to push me to get this project going. Yeah,
no, it's a good thing they did. I love the part of when you're talking about Willie Mae, the whole talking shit part.
Yeah.
Of the importance of, and as a comedian, it really means a lot of knowing the source of where the jokes come from.
Yeah, because you gotta, I mean, it's humor in everything. You know, that's why it's such a tough, I really feel sorry for you guys now, man, because it's such a tough time because nothing is funny no more.
Right.
And I always say, and my granny used to always say, it's something funny about everybody in every situation. It's something funny about Black people. It's something funny about white people. It's something funny about, but when you can't talk about the humor in it no more, that's a problem. And that's what I'm from. You know, I'm from the Jeffersons and Archie and Red Fox days where it was more open right after the civil rights movement to clown and everybody laughed about everything to where it is now. You can't laugh about nothing. You got to watch, like I say, my granny couldn't be around right now because, and she would always say, you know, one of her funniest things, and I heard somebody say, they stole that from my granny. So I don't like racist jokes. I don't do them. I think it's messed up. Nobody should do racist jokes. We all equal. And I don't like nobody doing them. That's why I'm only going to do one. And she'll tell one.
Yeah, and I love the way that she just said to flip it. Just flip it.
Yeah, yeah.
If you don't like it about you, make it about someone else.
Make it about, because she always said, let me tell you something. She said, and the thing is, and Noah got to meet her, you know, late in the game, but she would just call you over time and say something crazy. Like, speaking of flipping the joke, she'll call me over and say, hey, and I say, hey, you know what? Big nose, come here. And I say, hey, and she said, you know, dumb Polak jokes is just politically correct Black jokes. And I was like, I don't know what you mean. Then I got older and I realized what she was saying. You know, she said, they don't know that many Polish people in America. Them jokes was about us. But like I said, and she always would say, and I say in a book about her buddy, and they were friends when it wasn't even cool to be friends.
Right.
We called him Monk, and and they would sit there and crack jokes on each other, you know. And like I said, when he spoke at my granny's funeral, which he only lived a few days after she passed, because they was friends since they were 9 years old. But how they could sit, it taught me how everything is not, it's something, like I said, it's something funny about everything. And when you cooking food and barbecuing, you partying, you laughing, you playing dominoes, you telling stories, you listening to music, and you cracking jokes, but they all coming from a good place, you know?
Right.
I mean, on the way to my sister's funeral, we were in the limo cracking jokes.
Right, of course.
You know, went in the church and cried, took it hard, but came back out, and she would always say there's something funny about everything. And I like that she instilled that in me.
Yeah.
And I live that to this day. Like I said, I can be around. When Noah and them was here, Noah is one of the most serious people, might be bipolar, I don't know, but you got to keep him laughing. And I can keep him laughing even on bad days. I can know when he's having a bad day.
Yeah.
And I'll use that granny charm and pull him out of the bad day he's having. Am I lying, Noah?
I always say, I know Kev's really mad when he's not talking shit to me.
Right.
If Kev's quiet, there's something wrong going on. But I remember, Kev, you told me when you were younger, you used to take Rodney Dangerfield jokes and bring them back to the kids in the neighborhood and use them on that.
Oh yeah, so we bad. So Granny had all these albums, all of them, Rodney Dangerfield, everybody.
Yeah.
So I would take like a Rodney Dangerfield joke, and you know, because we bad, you know, we crack jokes, we played a dozen.
Yeah.
So couldn't nobody see me because I was already cheating way back then, you know? Well, you know, your mama so ugly, so-and-so had to trick or treat by the phone, you know? Everybody rolling, I stole that from a Rodney Dangerfield 1974 album, you know? Now they find it out now because of the internet, but you know, I'm long gone, so it's all good.
That's the best. Yeah, I love the whole attitude of the book comes from that perspective. And it's what makes the book so refreshing, because it is a cookbook. You are teaching people about barbecue, but you even say in the book, this should be fun. This should be getting your friends together. This isn't like rocket science. This isn't life. This isn't life or death. You should be having a good time. If you screw up, you screw up, and you just come out in the book and say, just fuck it, just have a good time.
Yeah, I mean, just some people, and I'm not knocking, and like I tell some people, I call it a which I don't give a damn about catching no flack, because I'm gonna say it and I'm gonna stick by what I said. But some barbecue enthusiast didn't appreciate it, but it's real. I'm not saying nothing against it. I mean, I give the craft much respect. I say learn your pit, learn your craft, but all I'm saying is when you get to a point that you're doing something outside on a beautiful day with good friends and good music, and it becomes so difficult that you forget about all the reason why you're out there, then you shouldn't be in the game.
Right. Yeah.
It's for fun. You're having a good time. It's a beautiful day outside. You got company. I mean, especially right now, coming off that pandemic. Come on, being outside, nothing smells better than that, than the pit smoking. Unless you smoke the good with the pit, then you got double good smoke. But whatever works for you.
Well, let's talk about the pit for a minute, because there's a lot of question when people even just hear us talking about it, and it's like, okay, this book is filled with great barbecue, with great ribs, with great brisket and chicken and seafood and all this stuff, and it's all about smoking it. And what can the average person do? Can they create their own pit in their yard? How much of a yard do they need? How do you calm people down?
I mean, that's one of the best parts of the book, and that's what me and Noah was sticklers on. We wanted somebody who has a $25,000 pit, or somebody who just has a Weber in the back on their porch or on their balcony in New York to be able to create something incredible. I mean, we got recipes that you can do on a small Weber on your balcony and still do great barbecue. And I tell everybody, the biggest thing is learn your pit. Whatever pit you have, once you learn your pit, you can cook anything, because you're mastering the temperature. It's all about keeping a consistent temperature, just like your oven keeps a consistent temperature, and you know how to cook something in the oven. Once you learn your pit and keep that heat consistent, you'll consistently make good barbecue.
Right. You are a very special person. You have very special needs. Everybody knows that. Everybody says it all the time, especially you inside your head, when you're tossing and turning in your bad mattress and staring at the ceiling and wondering, why doesn't anyone care about me? Why isn't anyone helping me? I'm on a lumpy, hard mattress, and no one seems to be coming to my aid. Well, they are. You just have to pay attention. Do this, my friends. Just do this. Go to Helix Sleep. Helix, Helix. Go to helixsleep.com and take their sleep quiz. It takes just 2 minutes. You'll give them your body type. You'll give them your desires. You'll tell them all the stuff that you like about sleeping. Hard mattress, hot, cold, soft, medium, whatever. And if you don't sleep alone, have your partner also participate. And Helix will tell you the kind of mattress that you need, and then they'll ship it to you. And this beautiful mattress will show up. This beautiful soft, medium, or firm mattress, ready for you, ready for your life, will show up. If you don't like it, after 100 nights, up to 100 nights, you can try it risk-free. And they'll come and pick it up for you if you don't like it, but you're going to love it. 10-year warranty on a Helix mattress. Voted #1 best overall mattress of 2020 by GQ and Wired magazine. I trust both those sources. Mattress comes right to your door, shipped for free. You don't have to go to a mattress store and lay around and have your partner there with creepy salespeople leering at you. It's time to up your mattress game and enjoy your life. A better sleep, more peaceful sleep. I'm telling you, I did it. We took it. My wife and I have very different needs when it comes to sleeping. And they sent us a mattress, and we're like, how's this even going to work? It doesn't seem even possible. And it's the best. It's the best. Helix is now offering up to $200 off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows for our listeners at helixsleep.com/papa. helixsleep.com/papa. And you'll save up to $200 off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows. Go, take the quiz, explore, get a better mattress, and enjoy your life. And then you'll think of me every time you go to sleep. Noah, has it inspired you to set it up at home? I mean, I know
Yeah,
you got the place, but that you're toiling away when you're.
yeah, it was a funny thing where I started out, only smoking barbecue commercially. So I was smoking,
Yeah.
hundreds of briskets a week, thousands of racks of ribs. And then Kevin would always tell me, watch, you'll see one day you'll just smoke one brisket in your backyard and it'll be fun. And I always said, yeah, we'll see. Kevin hates when I yeah him, but
Oh my God, I was about to get off this interview right then.
And then actually starting to do this book, and Kevin and I would laugh. We'd be working on recipe tests, and we'd be like, "All right, it's time to get up and season some ribs to work on the book." And we always used to seasoning 300 racks of ribs.
Yeah.
We did 2, and I just got to sit there. I'm cracking a beer, sitting in the backyard, smoking a rack of ribs, a chickens, a couple of rib tips, and it's a hang, and it's beautiful.
Oh,
and then also some of the grilled stuff we do in this book is incredible too. But at the same time, there's something kind of beautiful about, there's so much more than barbecue in the book as well, where you have all of these deep family recipes, these things that Kevin's been cooking at home forever. I mean, Kevin, he's a barbecue master, but he has one of the most amazing palates I've ever come across. When I give him food he's never had before, he can pick it out. He can figure out how to make something taste better and how to sort of find that level of flavor and consistency that's just beautiful. So I mean, there's stuff in this book we talk about all the time, but there's like these pinto beans his mom used to make with smoked neck bones in them. That one of my favorite things in the world to eat now.
Oh my God. Well, Kevin, that you only develop that kind of a palate from eating a lot of stuff in your life.
I mean, yeah, I show that every day too. But yeah, and I like I said, I give the credit to my mom, my granny, but also give it to my dad because my dad was a LAPD, so they know all the good places to eat. So being so many places in LA, hole in the walls, downtown LA. I mean, if they had health department ratings back when I was a kid, I'm sure we ate at some D's and some E's, but just all the whole incredible food. And that's why I respect the LA food scene so much, even from back in the day. And then even me knowing them and going to other places that I probably never would have even ventured to if it wasn't for them and our love for food. So it did. And it just opened up your world to so many different, different types of food. And it's so many different types. So when we try to recreate somebody else's food, we try to do it in a spectacular way because we don't want to disrespect it,
Right. It's pretty, you could feel, because you didn't come into this thinking, as a kid thinking I'm going to be a chef, I'm going to open restaurants, I'm going to do all this stuff. You just were doing it and getting good at it. And the momentum, it's almost scary to see how it happened, where you're making 20 and then you're making 50, then you're making 100 and then 300, then 1,000. It just keeps growing. I could see how it kind of just took over your life in a very positive way. But before you know it, you must have been like, holy cow, now I'm in the tsunami of work. I mean, is a hard career.
I remember I said to Kevin,
I tell everybody because you.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. No.
I was saying when I was getting ready to open the Bludsoes on La Brea as the full-time head chef, I said, Kev, I'm ready for those 100-hour weeks. And he said, 100-hour weeks? What are you working part-time? And boy, was he right. I think it was 20-hour days for the first probably 6-7 months, something like that.
Wow.
Yeah. I tell everybody, if you're ready to go 10 years with 2 off days in 10 years, then, be ready for that. Working your own business is the hardest job that you ever going to have, especially if you're a stickler. And I say all the time, if you're going to open up a restaurant, you have to be a stickler. And before you do, who are your first people that test your food? Who are your guinea pigs? Your family and your friends. So that's why on my cookbook, it's what I say, in soul land, that's the story. If it wasn't for friends and family, it wouldn't happen. And I tell anybody, if you're gonna open up a restaurant, the people that you're feeding way before has to say it's the best thing they ever tasted. Yeah. If they're not saying that, then you don't need to open up a restaurant. You're in that 90% that fails.
Right. Yeah, 100%. back to I love the pictures of your big groups of people are so great. I mean, just the Dallas crew and
Thank
just
you.
growing up, and you're always just it always seems like you're surrounded by like 50 people.
Well, that's my entourage. That's because I'm a rap. I don't know if they know I said not to bring it up, but I'm a rapper too. But I'll tell you about that on the next one.
All right, good. Yeah.
And I like to lie a lot too. So
yeah. Let's keep that on the down low for now, because rappers are getting arrested all of a sudden.
I know, right? We don't want to get shot at.
Yeah.
No, but that's where it was. Sunday was a big day. So anytime it was Sunday or even in the neighborhood, when I would just put the pit out practicing on something, everybody in the neighborhood would come by. So, and like I said, I would have them testing. So that's where that comes from. Just a huge family, Sunday dinners, and that was a big inspiration in the book. Dinner is to be celebrated. Food is to be celebrated. Getting together in family should be celebrated. And I'm glad you picked up on that, because that was exactly what we were trying to lay down in the book, a family. When you close the book up, we want you to feel like you part of the family.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, 100%. When you were starting out and you said like people were gathering around the pit in your early days figuring it out, what was your pit at that time?
I had a regular barrel that my ex-wife brought me at first. And I would still like put the charcoal on one side and barbecue on that. So it was just a regular, regular barrel, like the old tin trash can barrels.
Right.
And that was the first pit that I started on, and that grew. And then I was at a hot time doing the West Coast rap, so I was doing a lot of rap videos and all that. And I brought a trailer, I think maybe in 95, 96, and that kind of just set it off right there. And, you start doing video shoots, you start catering, and
Right.
People say, hey, you need to open up a business. And bam, bam, about 7-8 years after that, that's when Bledsoe's came.
Wow. Okay, so if I want to go one step further, or our listeners want to go one step further than the Weber on their back porch, what would you recommend is what's your little baby steps in putting together your own pit?
I mean, get your offset. Go to Home Depot, get you about a $250 smoking Joe's, all that, and learn about offset. Offset is the best way to go, low and slow, because you never have to deserve the cooking chamber. Your wood, you're doing indirect cooking, so your wood and your charcoal, your heat source, is away from your meat, and that is the easiest way to really learn how to smoke. And then that's another, you learn how to control that smoke box and control that damper and control the temperature. And then, you like Noah said, you practice on chicken. And once you learn how to hold a temperature on that chicken after about 3 or 4 cooks, I know how to hold it at 240, 250, then you're ready for brisket,
Right,
are you ready for ribs, because it's all about it. And I can't say it enough. It's all about consistent temperature. That's what it is. And a good seasoning, of course, which any type of rub, like I tell people all the time, can you give me help on a rub? Yeah, it starts with salt and pepper and sugar, and it's even salt, even sugar, or it depends on your taste. And then you add from there, and then you make a signature rub of your own. But you add, when you try to just keep doing something that somebody else is doing, that's what confuses people. Because there's so many different chefs out there. So 1 minute you like this, 1 minute you like that. Damn, make something that a chef eats your stuff and say, damn, I like that.
Right.
And that comes by just testing and trying it. And it's if you want to cook, then just barbecue every weekend. Barbecue something every weekend. Within a few cooks, you'll have that pit mastered. And if you're gonna look up anything online, just look on controlling the temperature of your smoker.
Right. Any advice for getting a smoker going if you're married to a vegetarian?
No, the only advice I can do is get a divorce.
All right, I'm gonna have to go. I'll see you guys later.
I'll let myself out.
I'm packing my stuff and I'm going to Dallas.
You need a smoker and you need a grill. So you can always grill veggies. And they fought me long and hard just to get a jackfruit lane at Bledsoe's. But I always say, hey, you guys need this and you need that. I say, well, when I can go in a vegan restaurant and get some ribs. I have some more vegan options at my meat restaurant.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Give a little.
Yeah.
Could you smoke fish?
Oh yeah, but
Absolutely.
yeah, but you know, you just got to be careful with that on your grill. And depends, you know, fish are so oily, and it's so
Right.
funny. A little fish oil can drip into your pit and basically throw off the whole taste of the way your pit smokes after
Yeah.
that. That's why wrapping or using a plank with a drip pan is so important, because people don't understand how powerful fish oil is when it drips into your pit. And you can, if you don't do it the right way, and you can do another smoke and it'll have a fishy smell on it. But yeah, fish is
Right.
excellent to smoke. The halibut's more of your thicker cuts meats. The
Mhm.
flaky ones are cool, but they don't lend themselves to long smokes, mostly a quick grill, like your catfish or your perches and all that. But
Black cod comes out amazing on there.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
your tunas and your halibuts and your thicker cuts of meat. I mean, you can smoke a tuna and have it almost tasting like a steak, you know, or halibut. I
Wow.
mean, you know, with your butter sauce. So yeah, you can smoke fish all day, and you can cold smoke it too. You know, once you learn your pit, you can do a 5 or 6 hour cold smoke on a salmon, and at about 100.
Uh-huh.
And you can make some incredible fish like that, man. I mean,
Oh, wow.
I've smoked it before and sliced it where it looked just like ham, and people really didn't know what they were eating.
Wow. Oh, that's interesting. What was when you opened the spot, was it successful right off the bat? Like, was it?
Oh yeah.
How early do you know? Oh, we've cracked it. Like,
Yeah, I mean, the press was crazy for it because Kevin was already kind of a legend at the time, and
yeah.
so once we knew there was going to be, the press was crazy for it. I mean, opening day, we had a line down the street to come in on the first day, and I think we sold out in 2 hours on day one. And yeah, it was wall to wall crazy, and I learned a lot on the fly too. So it was
Yeah.
I remember the first night we closed up, and we were just like exhausted. It's been a super long day. And everyone else was gone home, and I was just standing in the back alone with James actually, and we were seasoning ribs for the next day. We were like, what the hell did we get ourselves into?
Yeah. They're gonna come back tomorrow.
Yeah, this is, and it's just continued to grow and grow and grow. I mean,
Yeah.
I think about it all the time that Kevin had this small barbecue stand, not even that small, but barbecue stand in Compton,
Yeah.
in the early days of online food media where people were able to find it, but it grew from that to what it is now. I mean, think about how many people have opened barbecue shops in the last
Yeah.
20 years.
Yeah.
And for we flew to Australia together to open a restaurant in a casino, and there's a billboard with his face on it, and now he's on Netflix shows and
Yeah.
all this kind of crazy stuff. And it's a testament to him more than anything else.
Kevin, now that you are doing all this other stuff and you're doing the Netflix and but you're not doing those crank out days anymore of sitting in the restaurant, even though to the average person it would seem like you're really busy. Is this still is show business a lot easier?
It's really the only thing that's easy about show business, and Noah knows, and of course knows, is it's just not day to day,
Right.
But you can be on a shoot for 3 weeks where you doing, and that makes it worse.
Sure.
Because you can be on a shoot for 3 weeks where you're doing 18-hour days every single day,
Mm-hmm.
with maybe one or two. It depends what state you in and how lax the SAG rules are. But
Yeah.
those days they're not as hard. The work is not as hard, but the mental work is hard. And then
Yeah.
that is like when it's so stretched out, and then especially like coming right out of the pandemic and going right back to work on certain shows.
Yeah.
That was tough, man.
Yeah.
It was like you've been on injury reserve for 2 years and you got to come and run a 4-minute mile tomorrow. It was like that. You know?
Everybody was like, wait, I thought we were retired.
Yeah, we had to, but it's I mean, the hard work is what got it to that. So it's well respected, and I do love it, and I am impressed that they want you for so many shows, and You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
and I love that. Even like doing your show, man. I'm honored to be here, and that all comes from opening up a spot in Compton. So it just always pays itself back. You know.
Yeah. No, but there are some chefs I'm sure who are good who aren't fun to talk to.
Oh yeah,
Who are-
I'm sure it's a lot of those. You know?
Was it tough at first knowing like you had so much control and then you hand it off and Noah's going up to Hollywood and he's opening up this spot? Was there any of that thing of was it difficult to give up control and trust the likes of Crazy Noah?
See, you know his name. See, you must know. I mean, once you, it's not even about the giving up control. It's about the trust.
Right.
And then once, I mean, we had our issues. Noah felt like he had to try to think he need to change with shit with crow's feet and all that old crazy shit. And I let you do it. Okay, I'm gonna let you do it. I'm gonna let you get bit by this big ass mosquito in the ass, and then you're gonna have a bump on your ass because I used to always tell him if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But it's about trust and respect that, hey, you know, I'm gonna serve this shit the way it's supposed to be served and the way Kevin is gonna serve it. And once you trust somebody to do that, you don't have to be in there every single day, you know.
Right.
And it's still like that to this day. I mean, I can go in a restaurant, and if I could sit way up across the room and see something wrong and get up and go catch it. And I say that all the time. That's the way everybody on your staff should be.
Right.
You know, bad food, bad looking plates. And I tried to preach that to Noah and all the rest of them. It can't get out. Somebody has to catch it. And if they don't catch it, then, you know, we're not doing our job, you know. And if you're not being mentioned or you stop being mentioned on certain things in certain reviews or certain top tens, then that's a problem. You know, you always have to be relevant. And once you see yourself not being relevant, then you know you got a problem somewhere.
Right. Yeah. You actually mentioned in the book something about you saw someone putting out day-old ribs or something, and you were like, "Oh no!"
Oh, at the banquet hall.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Right,
so that was one of my training things. I hope I didn't put her banquet all in there though. Did I? I didn't.
I don't think you said.
I don't think you named names.
Yeah, but she would serve. That's when I had my trailer, and I said, "Hey, I went up there to barbecue. I said, pay me $15 an hour, and I'll do your barbecue on the weekends." And so, first thing, you only got one chance to make a first impression, and so if you have a slow day, especially in barbecue, the barbecue goes from the smoker to the warmer, and then the service. So you done smoked and you done did everything you can do with that rib, but get it pregnant. You know, so when it's done, it's time to throw it away. You can't put it in the refrigerator and warm it back up the next day because you're gonna give somebody something that look like it's been cremated. But they would do this and then wonder why you're not gonna have a return customer. And so that was my biggest thing when I opened up Bledsoe's. Whatever was left over was being dumped.
Right.
Because and you have to have that room for that, because if you're holding on to that food because of the, the bottom line or whatever, the bottom line is you're gonna be out of business in a few months.
Yeah.
And what I would do is I would cook less and embellish the hell out of it.
Right.
Oh man, you should have got here earlier. The fire department came, we had 30 slabs of rib, they sold us out. Come early. And then people started coming early and we started barbecuing more and more. And that's how we got our counts up by doing that. But you can't you can't, but I still take that as a lesson. I take so many things, so many places, the negativities and the positives, I take them as lessons, because if I didn't know that, I might have tried that. If I didn't know this, I might have tried this. Like I said, I went through tough times, but no matter what, I never missed my power. I always remember this story, Mo, my Italian guy, and I was working bartending at this place downtown Compton. This when I first stopped working for corrections and I needed a job. And I was down there and he gave me, and I really didn't even know how to bartend. He gave me the worst night of bartending. But I had a big following, so people would always come in. So within 3 weeks, I had the best night of bartending. I was like Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday afternoon. I was making $300-400 a night in tips. And I was Mo's go-to guy. And Mo was teaching me so much about the restaurant and the bar business. Right. And this sticks with me every time. So the bar was struggling because the owner was so messed up. The restaurant was struggling because the owner. So he missed payroll one time. One time he missed payroll, and Mo quit. Wow. And I didn't even hear from him for like a week. And I really thought we was friends and all that. And then he called me and said, "Hey, I'm gonna come pick you up. I want to take you out to lunch." So he took me out to lunch, and I was like, "Damn, Mo, how you just gonna walk away from me like that?" He said, "That was the hardest part, was walking away from you." And he was Italian. He had that accent. Was walking away from you because I love you like a son. And he said, "But what I'm trying to tell you is, in this business," he said, "look at me. What do I weigh? 130 pounds, dripping wet." He said, "Look at you, Kev. You fucking 6'3", 260 pounds, all muscle." He said, "You would beat the fuck out of me about your money." He said, "The only thing I have is the respect of a paycheck to you guys." And he said, "Once that's gone, I'm going to be," he said, "because you never get it back." He said, "Because then the employees who stuck with you on that week or two that you didn't make payroll, they have an advantage over you." Right. And that man, he said, never miss. And he was right. And he said he's never been but 2 places that miss payroll. And he said they never survived. Wow. He said, no matter what bill it is, no matter what, your employees are always the most important thing. And that was some, even tough times, I never, even if I had to go do a DJing job to make some extra money for payroll, I would do that back in the days when that first year when I opened up.
Wow. Yeah.
I bet you've got some dodgy old comedy club day payroll stories, Tom.
Oh man.
Yeah, you're right. You know what? And it didn't happen that often where they wouldn't pay or the check wouldn't show up. But the few times that it did, you never go back.
Yeah.
Never go back.
And that word probably spreads amongst the community as well.
Yeah,
it does.
100%,
so
100%. You talk a lot about, in the book, you give a lot of great, I don't know if I would call them secrets, but they kind of feel like secrets. Maybe you left some stuff out in the spicing of everything and how you spice stuff, the combination of spices. How long did it take you to figure out and tweak these spices, or was this stuff that was kind of handed down to you?
I mean, some things are handed down, but then like some things, like some recipes in there, just straight off the taste, okay, like we do the oysters Rockefeller, which is a barbecue fella, which is a play off oysters barbecue fella. What could we do different to make this remind you of oysters Rockefeller, which is a legendary seafood dish? But what can we put our twist on it with that? And that's what we did. Some of the cheeses that we use, some of the seasonings that, seasoning comes from taste. You have to taste. When you're cooking, you have to taste every step of your food. And that comes from seasoning. I tell people too, you have to be a master seasoner to get flavor into the food, especially if you're going to open up a restaurant. You have to know. I do so many shows now where I'm judging and people make such incredible dishes and they under-season. I always say season like you would regular season. Right. Because if you shouldn't be a chef if you're over salting something, and you shouldn't be a chef if you're under seasoning something. So don't get nervous. Season like you regular season. And the ones who do that are the ones who go the furthest in the competitions.
Right.
And yeah, sometimes sugar is not for sweet; it's for balance. The same thing with cayenne. Sometimes cayenne is an accent to make something pop without making it have to be spicy. And so I think that's where you think about you eat like great Thai food. It's sweet, sour, funky, spicy, and they all kind of meet in the middle in this perfect balance. And that's what Kevin is so good at with seasonings and with his spice blends and all that stuff.
Yeah. No, you were writing a lot about food and stuff. Just starting off your journey, where are you now? Like, what is now that you're on the other end of it and you're deep in it, and you've had all this time with Kevin, and you're kind of like at this point have to know instinctually what makes dishes really successful and what makes them flop. Like what is that? What, for your perspective, how have you changed?
I mean, I've changed a ton. I've always kind of looked at myself almost as more of an academic than a chef, and I've obviously been a chef for a while now, but also on the writing side, and I've had the incredible luxury to be trained and to be mentored by sort of luminaries in the industry. I mean, Kevin Bledsoe being foremost among them, but the first cookbook I got to write was with Jeremy Fox, who's a Michelin star award-winning chef specializing in vegetables and farmers market produce. I got trained on Pizza by Frank Pinello of Best Pizza in Williamsburg, and open pizzerias throughout Los Angeles, learning from that stuff. And you get all these elements. And then, on top of it, being a cookbook nerd and an obsessive, and now, I've got my own cookbook coming out in January and all these kind of things. So I get to kind of learn from all these people, and you filter it through your taste, but you learn from everybody. And, it's this incredible balance of things. And I get to take stuff I learned from Kevin, stuff I learned from Jeremy, and combine them into your own filter. And, at the end of the day, I think with recipe writing, with cooking at home, with restaurants, it's sort of the sort of two things that matter. There's you got to have good taste, and if your taste is good, then you can trust it. And two, you got to give enough of a shit to try to get it to taste the way you want it to. Right. And I think people fail on one of those two things.
Right.
And if you're cooking for yourself at home, you got to learn how to make food you're willing to eat and that you like. And that's the most important thing. But with a restaurant, obviously, if your taste does not appeal to more people, then people stop coming.
Right, exactly. When you Kevin, when you are talking shit to Noah, what is your go-to?
That he's a 5150.
What's that?
Mental 5150 category J. When that was our corrections for the pinnacle of mental illness. 5150 category J. The main thing with Noah is just to keep Noah on an even keel, because Noah worries. Noah takes stuff too serious sometimes. Noah is one of the most terrific individuals I have ever met in my life. And when I call him my little brother, he's my little brother. So what do big brothers do? Fuck with their little brothers. But Noah is the most concerning. He concerns about everybody and he loves everybody. And if somebody has a problem, it becomes his problem to where it'll take him somewhere. And my biggest thing to him, we all have to learn something from everybody. And Noah's thing, I try to say, Noah, stay on even keel, help him, but don't let that fuck up your day. Right. Whatever that situation is, let's get up, let's conquer today, right from the day. And like I tell everybody, win the day. When you come out of the bed, win the day. When you're an incredible person and you are, as Noah is, a heart of gold, that has to win the day for him. And can't nobody see that or don't appreciate that, and he don't need to be fucking with him.
Right.
Kev also taught me that only white people say awesome.
Yeah, white people and Jimmy. And Jimmy's black, and Jimmy said awesome and gosh the other day on the call. No, but we had Noah moved in when he comes down, because he's cheap as hell 2 times. So,
oh no, I didn't know
we
that.
got condos and everything he can stay at here. No, I think I'm just gonna stay with Kev. So, but that's really how he got everything out of me, because it was really like a setup, So I might talk my shit, but Noah got everything he wanted to get out of me every night after a long day of cooking, and him getting on my nerves. He'll just come in, and he'll have 2 glasses and some ice, and it's cocktail time, and he'll turn on that goddamn tape recorder, and that's how he would get the 2 drinks in, and he would start asking me a question, and it was on from then on.
Oh, nice.
It wasn't because I was cheap, Kevin, because I was drinking a lot with you. I didn't want to drive to the condos at the end of the night.
Yeah. Now we had some real, and then sometimes the stories we be writing my book, but I would flip it around and be asking Noah questions. But we had a lot of laughs, a lot of the tears, and it's a lot that went into this book. We had very life-changing situations that happened to both of us while he was here. Yeah. Family things and all that. So it was whenever we do book 2, it'll be done the same way. You just need a bigger house.
No, that all of that makes such perfect sense. I mean, from your backstory and from the 2 of you together, because this really does. This is a book. I mean, it's a book that also feeds you. You can get all these tips and you can get all this stuff and learn about this kind of food, but also it's a real story. It's a real heartfelt story. You feel like, and I'm not even all the way through it, and I feel like I'm, like you said, like a part of it. You draw us in. It is very, very much based in family. And I hate to say it, but you 2 together make awesome brothers.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I'm the lucky one.
That's correct.
Well, thanks so much for being here. Everybody's got to go get the book immediately. It's I'll put it in the links and stuff. It's Bledsoe's Barbecue Cookbook, and I just love everything from the cover, the photos, the stories. And look, if anybody really loves Noah, you could draw a picture of him like in the inside back cover. You could doodle.
Or actually, just last week we launched my wife Eliza Schlesinger and I, we did this whole pandemic live stream cooking show thing, and we just started doing it as a YouTube show. So if you want to see me cooking food, it just started last week. But Don't Panic Pantry on YouTube, that you'll see my actual face, and Kev's going to be on one coming up soon too.
Oh, that's awesome! I could only hope that I get to see Eliza busting you the same way that Kevin does.
Yeah,
we have an overarching theme here, Noah.
Yeah, it works. I'm happy to receive it, and honestly, I probably need it more than most people do. So I'll take it.
Well, thank you guys so much for being here. I can't wait to see you guys in person real soon.
Thanks,
Thank
man.
you
Thanks
so much,
for having
Tom. Such a
us.
pleasure.
All right, talk to you soon.
All right.
Bye.
All right, there you have it. I told you it was a good one. Isn't that a good one? That was a good one. A big thank you to Kevin and Noah for coming on the program. Makes you want to go out there and crank up the grill. Very inspiring. Go get their book, Bledsoe's Barbecue Cookbook. You're gonna love it. Go on Amazon, just start looking at the pictures, and you'll start salivating all over your keyboard and have to order it immediately. Thank you to all of you for listening. Thank you for spreading the word. We keep growing. The community keeps getting bigger. Keep your comments coming. If you want to hit me up direct, of course, you can hit me on Facebook and Instagram. If you're watching this broadcast on YouTube, we're also posting a whole bunch of new clips. If you want to share those and tell people how cool you are because you're part of the Breaking Bread community. And here we are. It's summertime. Call in sick to work. Don't take it all so seriously. And we'll see you next time.